Hello everyone and welcome to another Unity recreation video. Today we'll be making a small recreation of the home run contest from the Super Smash Bros. Franchise.
Behold the tools of creation!
So we will be starting here with a blank 2D project. I'm working on Unity version 2019.2.18. First, we need to create the sandbag, but for this project, we will make a ball. So this ball here has a circle collider and rigid body 2D. Next, we need to create the infinite ground, as well as have the camera follow the ball after the ball has been launched. Of course, you can make a very big collider, but someone might be able to launch further than the limit. So instead, we will have a ground attached to the camera which follows the ball, making it look infinite. Now, we need to make the script so that the camera always follows the ball on the x-axis, but also on certain points of the y-axis. We will name this script Follow Ball. In Follow Ball, we would need to add the game object to the script, and we'll name it Ball. This will allow us to get the position of the ball. In order for the camera to follow the ball, we need to set the position of the camera to equal the position of the ball. But we would also have the camera follow the ball by the x-axis only when the ball is at a certain y-axis. This would be the static y position, and for this project, it would equal to 0. As you can see here, whenever I move the ball, the camera follows. But if the ball's y-axis is less than 0, then the camera would stop and the ball would hit the ground. Before we can get launching, we have to set the direction of the launch. So I created an empty object and rotate it at a 45-degree angle to the right. We will use this in the script. Next, we will move on to the launch script. In Smash, the fighter would rack up as much damage as they can before they launch it. For simplicity, we will make the launch based on how many times you can click the mouse. First is num of clicks, which shows the number of clicks the player makes. Next is the power of the launch. Then the launch direction transform. The rigid body is used to apply the force for the launch, and allow to click is when the player is able to mash the mouse. In the start function, we would want to get the rigid body for the RB variable. Next, we need to set up a timer after the start function, so I use the boolean in the update function. Down below, we would make a launch function which adds the force equal to the power multiplied by the number of clicks, and set allowed to click to false. Back at the update function, we need to set it so that while you're allowed to click, the number of clicks increase every time you press down on the mouse. In order to set a timer for the launch, I use the evoke function to allow the player to click, and after 5 seconds disable the clicks and launch the ball. Now we can test it, and you can see that the camera follows the ball until it lands. However, it doesn't feel right, so I fixed the bounciness and the friction of the rigid body. Now it feels like a real ball, but there is still a problem. Once you hit the play button, you have to quickly mash the mouse. In Smash, there is a delay before the player can start doing the combo. So for this project, we would add a 2-second delay before the player is allowed to click. First, we need to change allowed to click to start as false. Next, add a delay to activate when the player is allowed to click. We will call the function go. And since we extended the time from the start, we need to change the ball to launch 7 seconds later. And below, we would make the go function activating allowed to click to true. To better show that the code works, we will use text for ready and go. For this project, I use Text Mesh Pro, which is free to download. Then back in the code, we have to get the two texts and activate and deactivate them at their appropriate times. Now we can see when the player is allowed to click when the game starts. In Smash, there is a scoring system, so for this we will use the X position of the ball as the score, and to display the score, we will use another text mesh. For this project, the score would equal to the X position multiplied by 100. Now we have a working home run contest. However, I want it to look a little nicer. So, by using this tutorial by Danny and a Google image, I added a parallax effect to the game. And with some more adjustments, you get the home run contest in Unity. Now of course, there are a lot of things you could add to make it better, like achievements, but I'll save that for another video. If you have enjoyed the video, leave a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe for more content. I'll see you guys later. See ya.